We are bigdatahands.com. Today is day 23. We are going to see support vector machine on kernel SVM. So our website bigdatahands.com. You can visit our website. If you have any doubts, you can message us in this number 978928424, or you can send email through support@bigdatahands.com. Of the previous videos of this, like day 22, day 21. So day 1 to I think day 21 we have uploaded. We'll upload the new pages day 22 and day 23. Inshallah tomorrow we'll upload. So the videos you can find it in our YouTube channel bigdatahandson.com. If you subscribe to our channel, you will get all the notifications. Okay, all the videos have been uploaded. You can see that. Okay, so now let's jump into on our today's topic, support vector machine. Okay, support vector machines SVMs simply are supervised learning models with associated learning algorithms that analyze data and recognize patterns used for classification and recognition analysis. Okay, so SVM we use SVM for commonly classification algorithm only, but is used for regression analysis as well. And an SVM model is a representation of the examples as points in space mapped so that the examples of the separate categories are divided by a clear gap that is as wide as possible. Actually, in SVM, we have in SVM also we have too many algorithms. The first algorithm is linear SVM. So in the linear SVM, what we do basically, let's say you have two categories of data. Okay, so we want to separate by a line. That line divides the categories with a clear gap that is as wide as possible. That's what in this para it's saying. And new examples are then mapped into that same space and predict to belong to a category based on which side of the gap they fall on. So after dividing the categories, we can easily categorize new data based on which side is false on, right? Okay, so this is the linear SVM actually. So you can see here we have two categories of data. If you want to classify this, we draw a line. So the line can be drawn like this. Anyways we can draw the line, right? So we want to draw a line that maximize the sum of the distance of the nearest points on either side. That means we take the maximum of this category, so the point which is closer to the other category. So you can see here we have a red category, right? So the point which is closer to green category, the point is this one, right? And let's take the green category. So in green category, the point which is closer to red category, that is this point, right? So we take these 2 points as the support vectors. That's the why we called the algorithm name as support vector machine. So the line is drawn based on the support vectors. So we selected the support vectors and we draw the maximum margin, and and uh, we select the maximum line based on the support vectors on both sides. Okay, so not only for, if you have a linear type of data, you can easily classify with a single line. But what about non-linear type of data? So what about this data? If you draw a line, so there's a misclassification, half of the misclassification, so we'll get only 0.5. So for this type of non-linear type of data, we have a trick called kernel trick. So this trick will follow for the non-linear type of data. In this kernel trick, what we'll do basically, let's say you have a two-dimensional data. If you want to uh, categorize as a non-linear type of data, then what we do, we take it to a we take it on a high dimensional analysis like this. So we take it as high dimensional, and then we are drawing a panel right here. So now in three dimensional it's not line, it's a panel. Okay, so if you have two dimensional, we'll convert into three dimensional, and then we'll easily we can classify. So the top and bottom, right? So in the middle we are drawing a panel. So it's how we do in for non-linear type of data. Okay, so in kernel trick also we have many algorithms. We'll see that upcoming slides. So let's see math behind the linear SVM. So all the algorithms in machine learning actually have derived from the equation y equal to mx plus c. There's straight line equation, right? So you want to actually thorough that equation, the linear uh, regression, right? Y equal to mx plus c. So this algorithm, the SCM algorithm, also derived from the linear equation only. So what happens here? Y equal to mx plus c here is converted into two features, x1 and x2. Okay, so we have two features, then it will convert to x1 and x2. Now the y becomes x2 equal to mx1 plus c. So we are taking into the one side, and then mx1 minus x2 plus c equal to 0. Now the m becomes w1, and b becomes, okay, c becomes b here. So we are just converting the notation of gradient m into weight. We are converting w1 or w2 like that, and b we are converting into, sorry, c is divided by the w2, and then that is b right here. So w1, and then the equation will be w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus b equal to 0. So this for two dimensional. If you have three dimensional, then it will go on for w3 and x3. For n dimensional, we have w1 xn plus b equal to 0. So this was the equation for linear SVM. So as you can see here, the line here, so it shortly we can say w power t w power tx plus b equal to 0. In short, we can say like that. So the line is, the equation is w power tx plus b equal to 0. This line, the previous line is, the margin hyperplane is w power tx plus b equal to minus 1, and these are the plus 1. Okay, so if you select this line in the middle line, so using this line we are going to classify. Okay, so now this non-linear type of data, the kernel trick here. So in the non-linear type of data, so non-linear type of algorithm SVM, we have three algorithms like RBF, Gaussian RBF, and polynomial, and we have a logistic also. So here, this example is the Gaussian RBF kernel trick, and K is the kernel, stands for kernel, and X any point in the base plane, L is the landmark. So the red dot here, that is the landmark actually. So the equation for RBF kernel is kernel of x comma li equal to e power minus modulus of x minus li whole square divided by 2 sigma squared. Okay, and the x is, sorry, the red dot is the landmark, and then the plus and the cross is the points here. Okay, so in 2D space is like this. Okay, when far away from the landmark, the result will be very very small. So using the RBF kernel, what we are doing here is, if the point are too far from the landmark, then uh, the result will be very small, very very small, like 0.001. That is equal to 0 actually. So, and some points, if that is near to the landmark, that becomes 1. Okay, becomes 1. So we can easily, now we can easily classify that. If the point is far away, the class is 0. If the point is too close, then that is class 1. Actually we can draw a border line right here. So how far I need to take the green points. So for that we have a parameter called sigma here. So sigma controls the influence of the points. So like that's we are drawing a border right here. So that's what the sigma is. So the values like if the sigma is 0.2, you can see the that is peaking, right? So that means if you have a small number of sigma value, then the border will be small. If you have if the sigma value is high, then the border will be large. Okay, that means far away points are also considered. That's what the meaning is. And I said before, we have three types of kernels: Gaussian, RBF, sigmoid. Okay, and sigmoid, we know that it's been used in logistic regression, the same function here, sigmoid. And we have polynomial kernel as well. Okay, and in the algorithm we have a parameter called gamma value. Okay, so gamma value controls the the border. It controls the border actually. So high gamma, if you have high gamma value, only nearby points are considered. Low gamma value, that means far away points are also considered. Okay, now let's go to the implementation. Let me open the spider now. Not display. Sorry, run. Okay, for the source of the today's data is, you can go to the Kaggle, and today we are going to uh, predict uh, the gender based on the voice. So we have the voice data. Go to the data tab, and you can search here like voice. This is the data here, gender recognition by voice. So you can download the data. That's 1 MB. Okay, it's a huge data actually. Okay, so now we'll create a new file and save this file. Let's name it as SVM support automation. So first we'll import the libraries pandas and numpy. Okay, just connecting to kernel. So what? It's taking long. So we have the data, same data here, right here. So in the last column we have the label, that is male or female, right here. So first let me create a data frame using the pandas library. We can read the file read underscore csv, and then we'll give the path. So we got the data frame, and you can see we have too many features, right? So in the last column we have a label, male or female it will be. So totally we have 3167 observations. Okay, so I'm going to take the x and y. Okay, first we'll encode the category, that is male and female. So using the label encoder, we import the label encoder, sklearn dot preprocessing module. Inside this we have the label encoder, and we need to create an object for label encoder, and we can fit that in the dataset. So you can see what all the features we have, and you can describe it using the describe function. So as you can see we have too many columns, and also we have another function called info. It will give the information about the columns. And if you want to know is there any nan values is there, so you can do like data dot it is na dot sum. So you can see we don't have any NaN values, missing values. So we can proceed with category encoding the categories. So I want to encode the label categories only. It's the result column. LB dot fit transform data of label. Okay, let's run these three lines. Uh, now now you can see we have labeled categories 1 and 0. Okay, now we have to split the data set like x and y. So the x, the columns we take uh, after the uh, okay, we'll take all the column, we'll take the columns until starting to -1. So what this means, it's we are just excluding the -1 column. In Python, in the reverse indexing start with -1. So -1 means last column. So we are just excluding the last column. And you can see uh, for y, we'll select the label column. So we select all the columns in x without label, and in the y we select only the label column. Okay, okay, now we have all the columns right here. So now it's time to split the dataset into training and testing. So we can import the train test split function in the model selection module. Import the train test split. Okay, okay, and then what we need to do is, it will return five values. We know x train x test and y train y test. So call the function train test split, give the data set x and y, and give the test size. I will take the test size, let's say 0.2, and I'll take the random state. We'll start with 0, and we'll after the uh, creating the model, we'll try to adjust the random state, and we can gain more accuracy. Okay, so what's this? I have put it two brackets here. Okay, we remove the brackets. Okay, now let's run these two lines. X is now okay. Oh, we I given a capital X actually. Random. Actually, that is random. Okay. So now we got the training data set. So as you can see in the feature, independent feature, the scale is different, right? All the features have different scales. So we need to standardize the scale using the standard scaler. Let me import the standard scaler in the sklearn module, pre-processing module. Inside this we have standard scaler. So we'll import the standard scalar, and then we'll create an object, standard scalar. Okay, now we need to fit into the training data, fit transform on the train data, and for test data we'll just apply the mean and standard deviation, just call the transform function, and here we'll give the test data. That's it. So now we got the scaled training and testing data, so it's time to build the model. So for the SVM we have a class called SVC or SVR. SVC means support vector classifier, SVR support vector regressor. So these classes available in the sklearn library. Inside we have a module called SVM. Inside this module we have a class called SVC or SVR for regression. Let me import SVC first, and here we need to create an object classifier equal to SVC. Okay, and here if you press Ctrl I, you will see the help. In the help tab you will see the parameters and the definitions, what are the parameters are. So now, okay, here, so we have some parameters like C, kernel, degree, gamma, and this what not we don't want these the parameters, or you can select the random state also. This parameter will be useful, random state. And actually we mostly we use these four parameters, that is gamma, degree, kernel, C. Okay, these four are important parameters. So let me first uh, give you what is C here. C is a, you can see the definition, regularization parameter. The strength of regularization is inversely proportional to C, must be strictly positive. The penalty is a squared L2 penalty. So what the C parameters actually is a regularization parameter. So that means it controls the overfitting and underfitting. So now you got that. Now you, I hope you understand. So it controls the overfitting and underfitting. Okay, so this must be a positive one. The default is 1.0. Okay, and we have kernel. So in SVM also we have too many algorithms, like linear SVM we have. In the kernel trick we have polynomial, RBF, and sigmoid we have. uh, and we can select, or if you have a linear type of data you can select linear kernel, or if you have polynomial type of data you can select polynomial kernel. RBF will you, we can use for every data, it will be work actually. And for sigmoid we have also, so we can select the kernel. And then degree is actually for the polynomial kernel. So in polynomial actually we give the polynomial regression, we give the power right, the degree actually. So it will useful when you use the polynomial kernel, the degree will be useful. And gamma value, so gamma value is the kernel coefficient for RBF. Is just for we need to use the kernel trick. If you are using the kernel trick, then the gamma parameter you need to give actually. So the gamma equals scale, don't worry about that. So gamma, what is actually doing is it's actually drawing the borderline. So if you have high gamma value, only nearby points are considered. If you have a low gamma value, far away points are also considered. So what the use of gamma value actually. Okay, now first let me keep the default ones, and then we'll try to fit the classifier. not giving any parameters. I just simply take the default ones and let's see how it is working. Now we need to fit into the training data x train comma y train. Okay, so now we have fitted the support to term classifier. Now it's time to predict. Y pred equal to classifier dot predict. Okay, now we got the prediction results y pred right here. And we have test results also. This is the actual one, that's the predicted one. So let me count how many we have classified correctly and we have incorrectly classified. So to do that, we'll import the confusion matrix in the matrix module. Confusion matrix. We'll give the y test and the prediction result. Yeah, here. So you can see 6 plus 4, that means 10 observations only we have incorrect predictions. All the other uh, predictions are correctly classified. So the default uh, SVC is actually working. The default parameter is actually, let me print the score of the model. uh, Classifier dot score, I think. Yeah, score of the, you need to give the test data x test and y test both. So as you can see, we have 0.984% accuracy. So it's the power of SVC. Actually, it's not power of SVM. Actually, we have done this algorithm previously taken in the Tamil sessions. That time, what I did is I did not standardize the scale actually. So this was the problem I have. I did in the previous session, Tamil session. So in that time, I got a less accuracy. You can see if I run this, you can see the score. It will be less, right? 0.679 only. So now the power is actually for standardizing the scale only. So you can see if I put the standard scaler right here, and then the score is instantly increasing, right? 0.98. Okay, this is the power of standardizing the scale. Okay. Okay, so now we'll explore the parameters in the SVC. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the kernel linear. Okay, let me select the linear uh, kernel and we'll give C parameter. Okay, so if you are using the uh, linear kernel, then you don't have to give the gamma value. Actually, the gamma value you'll give only for kernel tricks. Okay, C parameter you give for both, every algorithms will give. Let me change it to 10. Now let's see what happens. Kernel linear C10. Now the accuracy is 0.97. uh, okay, it's actually nice actually. Okay, we'll select polynomial and we'll give the degree as 2. Degree as 2, then see what happens. Actually polynomial will work when you have a polynomial type of data. It will work efficiently, but not this time. It's only giving 0.94. Okay, let's try sigmoid kernel, and we don't have to give the degree now. So it's a kernel, so you want to give the gamma value. Let's give gamma as 0.1. Okay, actually it's very less, so we don't want the sigmoid. Keep it RBF. RBF means radial basis function. The expansion is radial basis function. So as you can see, it's giving the same result when I say kernel RBF, 98% accuracy. Okay, so I'm going to give you a algorithm that will help you when you have too many parameters. If you want, for example, in C we can select in the C the values can have 1, like 10 or 100 or even 1000. The range is different, right? So you can give some values, and then we want to explore the both parameters, right? I will put C as 1 and gamma as a different value. Like that I want to find a combination of the parameter values that has more accuracy. So for that we have an algorithm also in scikit-learn. So for example, if you have a gamma value, maybe for example 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, so like this. So we have four values in the C and gamma. I want to select the combinations of the C and gamma which gives a high accuracy. Okay, so for that we have an algorithm called grid search CV. Grid search CV will help you when you have too many parameters and you want to tune the parameters. So we can use the algorithm for tuning the parameters. Okay, for that, so we'll try here at the bottom. So you need to import the grid search CV. I think that's model selection. I think I just forgot at that. Yeah, the model selection only. The model selection module we have the grid search CV. Okay, so and then what you need to do is you need to create a object, so call the class, and this takes some parameters. What are the parameters? That is, first is estimator and param grade, like all this some parameters we have. So this is the two important parameters, so estimator and param grade. So estimator is nothing but you need to give the class of the classifier. Let me give this class, but not the C and gamma value. I'm not giving the C and gamma value. I'm going to give the C and gamma value in the param grade. So let me take params as a variable, and here we give the parameters in a dictionary format. So the first would be the name of the parameter C, and the key will be, key will be the name of parameter, and the value will be the values you want to give. Let's say I want to give 1 and 10, 100, 1000. Okay, and the next parameter is gamma, and for gamma value I will give you 0 0.1, 0 0.01, 0 0.001, 0 0.0001. Okay, now in the grid search CV you need to give the parameter params grid, and after that you can give a parameter called verbose. I'm setting up 10. This will show you some information, that's it. And what other we have? Scoring, yeah. Scoring will give accuracy. it will show you the accuracy. Okay, that's it. We created the object and we want to fit that into the training data. Fit X train and Y train. You can see it's just running the combinations, and you can see the accuracy is like decreasing, increasing, and it will give you the best result actually. So now, yeah, here we got 0.99% accuracy with a combination of C1000 gamma 0.001 and Scholar. So here also we have 992 with the combination C100 gamma 0.001. Like this, it will give you uh, it will try the combinations of parameter values and then it will give you the score. So after this result, you can select the right parameters. Okay, let me select here. We'll put C equal to 1000 and gamma. Let's take 0.001 and let's see what happens. I will comment these lines. Okay, the same result is coming. 0.982. Okay. uh, oh yeah, I think it's actually giving the score of training data. Yeah, yeah, that's what. Okay, so actually this the score 0.99% is for the training data results only, not the testing data. That's why if I change that, it's not. Okay, let's keep this accuracy 0.98. Okay. Okay, let's try some regression algorithms using the SVR classification. Sorry, support vector regressor. Let's try that. I will take the data set Boston. Let me import the Boston data from sklearn dot load. It's not coming. Data sets. Yeah, data sets. Import load Boston. So load Boston right here. So now we'll call, instead of this reading the file, we'll call the function load Boston. It will give you the data, and we need to create a data frame with the data, that is pd dot data frame, and you want to give the data that is inside the key data and the column names you want to give. So in the columns parameter, we give the feature names. So the feature names you can get it from data of of feature names. The key is feature names, feature underscore name. And this column in this data key actually has the independent features. The target variable is inside the target key. So we create a in the data frame. We create another column called target, and the data is available in the data target. Okay, so now we had this. Let me remove this or comment it, and we'll select yeah, the same we have, but not the label. We have the target. Okay, and then we split into training and testing, and standardizing the scale. And now here what we do, we'll import the regressor, support of the regressor from sklearn svm import svr. Okay, now we need to create a regressor using the svr. Let's see what are the parameters it has. Control I. Yeah, the same parameters we have, but we don't have C actually because it's a regression. Okay, we have the same kernels, we have degree, we have gamma, but we don't have C. Okay, so let's select okay, keep as the default one. Okay, and now we need to fit the regressor into the training data, right? Okay, and then we use the regressor object to predict, and we don't use the confusion matrix. Instead we use r squared score and mean squared error, or you can just simply regressor dot score, it will give you the score. Okay, now all all set. Now let's run. ilog. Okay, not this data, but this data frame df right here. Okay, it's too less, 0.49. So we want to regularize the parameters. So what we do, we select the kernel as linear kernel. Okay, linear is little bit high, 0.52. Or we select polynomial with degree, the default degree 3. No, not okay. Select rbf, but we give a different gamma value. No, oh, it's very low. Okay, so what we do, uh, we'll try to improve the test size, maybe. Yeah, it's now it's just increasing, 0.55. Yeah, 0.56. Sometimes what happens, we need to select an appropriate model for a particular data. For example, let's take the Boston data. So in the Boston data, we have actually done previously some algorithms like maybe I think random forest regressor. I think no, that's Casey House data, or maybe KNN. Yeah, here. So in the KNN only. So this KNN algorithm, uh, what it gives? It gives 0.79. So it's uh, oh, maybe this reason we are selecting the columns. Let's try that. Oh, now it's increasing 0.62. Let's give the same configuration what we did here, 0.25 test size and random state 10. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, no, not it's not working. So sometimes this will happen for some data. Some algorithms will not work properly. So like this, or maybe the problem in selecting the parameters. Maybe so we need to trial and error method will achieve that. Now it is increasing. Let's try more. Okay, now we are in 0.7. Like this we want to try and we'll get accuracy. So now it is 0.65. We'll decrease now 0.67. Let's keep it random state 30. So that's giving me 0.70. This is very less when compared to KNN. It's giving 0.79 actually. So for this data, Boston data, we select K neighbors. Okay, I think you can end this session from this. Have any doubts? You can ask. Any doubts? Okay, I hope no doubts. No. So we are bigdatahandson.com. Our website bigdatahandson.com. it's not recognizing. So this is our website. So if you have any doubts, you can message us in this number 9789 or you can send email through support at bigdatahandsome.com. And our videos will be uploaded in our YouTube channel bigdatahandsome.com. If you subscribe to our channel, you will get all the notifications. So we'll upload as soon as possible, inshallah. Okay. So now tomorrow we'll see. Uh, we'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow I think it would be clustering. Maybe I forgot. Yeah, here. Yeah. So tomorrow will be clustering algorithms. We'll start clustering. That is actually unsupervised learning. Yeah, one person said so related to data. Different model work differently as per the data. Yeah, you are right actually. So actually what we need to do is in the day 39 you can see the model selection. That model selection means we select an appropriate model for the data. So for if the data is changing, the model performance also will change. So we'll select an appropriate model for the data. So that's what we have too many algorithms here. So you can select whatever you want for that data. For example, if the logistic regression is giving high accuracy, then you can use this algorithm. That's why. So from tomorrow we'll start clustering algorithm. Tomorrow maybe yeah, k-means and db-scan, and day after will be mean shift and hierarchical. These are some clustering algorithms. These are it comes under unsupervised learning actually. And we have association rule, a priori, eclat, and dimensionality reduction algorithms. Uh, and this in this we have principal component and linear discriminant and kernel PCA. And in after day 29, this would be model selection and boosting. From this we'll come to end machine learning. After this we'll start deep learning from 30 to 40. It would be deep learning, and day 41 and day 42 natural language processing, and day 43 to day 49 actually would be reinforcement learning. Day 50 is RMO is nothing but it's a time series analysis. You can see. Yeah. So we'll see tomorrow. Bye. Yeah, one person is asking how do we know which algorithm to use, as there are many types. Yeah, actually you need to do first you have to create all algorithms, create an all objects, and then try to fit into the data. It's just a trial and error method only. You will find a best algorithm for the data. Okay, that part we'll see in the day 29 model selection. All this I will tell you clearly how to select the algorithm. Okay, bye.